I'm Chris Ward, technical writer at Chronosphere. Welcome to part 3 of my conversations on observability with Joep Piscaer, an independent industry analyst. In the previous video, we discussed observability and the advantages and disadvantages of cardinality. If you missed that discussion, find details in the description below. In this video, we cover some additional best practices for cardinality. Let's get stuck in.
So outside of the business decisions, are there, once you've kind of got to the next level, are there any other methods you can use to tune metrics cardinality?
Yeah, of course. So the most important method here is, of course, don't collect data if you don't need it, right? So dial down that cardinality, dial down the number of labels that you have on a metric if you don't need them. Yeah. Right. And this is one of those problems that I see happening everywhere. I mean, I see this happening in cloud with people forgetting to turn off their cloud resources after they're done with them. Right. I see this with metric systems where people forget after a while that they were collecting data on, this or that very specific label. And so periodic reviews of what data you're actually gathering and kind of comparing that to that snapshot of the business that you made to figure out, okay, do I still need this? Right. So that's the most important one. But then in addition, you'll have a couple of others. So you can dial down resolution, which is the interval at which you collect data. So if you're actively troubleshooting a problem, you'll increase the resolution. You'll look at a very fine grade, I don't know, per second maybe. But then after a problem's gone, you can dial it back down to maybe once a minute or once every 5 seconds. You can also tweak that per environment maybe. So maybe for a production environment, you'll have a higher resolution than you'll have for a dev test environment. That there's a couple of smart choices there to make. And then, of course, you'll have retention. So the amount of data that you store on disk after collecting it, you can play with those knobs as well. You can save it for an hour. You can save it for 7 weeks. You can save it for a year. But depending on where you need that data, what you need that data for, you can also aggregate it or downsample it after you've stored it. Where as the data ages, the resolution, for instance, is dialed down. So the first week of data is very granular, very detailed, but then the data that you keep for a month or a quarter or a year, that's okay being dialed down in terms of resolution. And then the last one, of course, is aggregation, where you kind of summarize the data into new data. So you combine a couple of different data sources. You aggregate that into a new data source, and then optionally you can choose to discard the original data, which leaves you with a summary. But in many cases, the summary or the less granular version of that data is fine as the data ages.
Yeah. And I gather if anyone is interested in finding out more about some of these fantastic insights you've shared, you wrote a white paper for us.
Yeah, I did. Which it basically goes into this business problem that we have, that now our environments are super complex, but we need insights. Getting insights into everything at the highest level of detail is impossible.
And we'll put a link to that white paper in the description of the video. And yeah, once again, thank you very much for joining me. Some amazing insights there.